Hey trainers, Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and I have recorded this video several times now, so whatever happens, this is going to be the cut. So I am going to be showcasing a team that raised me about 150 points in my ELO the last couple of days. It is Swampert on the lead with Articuno on Safe Swap, and in the back we have a Cresselia, just because Cresselia has such broad meta coverage. And the basic strategy of this team is that if I safe swap into Articuno, we are going to draw out the hardest counter to things like Articuno and Cresselia, and Swampert should be able to beat whatever that thing is, probably a steel type, pretty easily. So that is the strategy here. All right, we get a bad lead with a Gyarados and immediately switch into our legendary Ice Bird here and end up in another negative situation with Typhlosion. But here's the thing, I figured because the other person is probably feeling pretty comfortable, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that Hurricane for neutral damage, and guess what? It lands, and I end up doing a lot of damage to the Typhlosion. Now I made kind of a risky and unusual choice here. I double shielded the Articuno, and that is because I figured if Typhlosion is their best response to Articuno, that I can do really, really well with Articuno having energy moving forward against the rest of their team, and I can probably get those shields back pretty quickly. So they bring in the famous blue frog that loves to hop all around the Ultra League, and I am able to debuff them, so that's pretty nice, and chip quite a bit of damage, get one of those shields back, and look at Articuno go. It is still rolling here. They bring back their Gyarados, but Gyarados has been debuffed, so even its super effective crunch attacks are not gonna chunk all that much damage from our Cresselia. So I'm just gonna go for Moonblast for some neutral damage here. Moonblast is a pretty strong attack. They have a lot of energy, so they're trying to spam off those crunch attacks. I imagine that it is not fun for Cresselia to get bit by that giant sea snake, but the opponent sees that they're not getting very far with that debuff, so they decided to quit, and that's all right. I'm not sure that that game was quite over yet, but hey, if you're not feeling it, that's okay. Just move on to the next one. All right, this time we end up with a positive matchup against the robot that throws rocks and Melmetal, yep. And they swap into their Swampert. So this time I'm not going to safe swap because we are not getting out of the first matchup. So whenever the opportunity to just beat the other Pokemon arises, one should probably just do that. So I swapped over into my Cresselia. We have Grass Knot. As long as the Swampert doesn't have full health, Grass Knot will KO, and we can tank a lot of these Hydro Cannons from the little frog before we end up having to use a shield. Grass Knot spams off pretty quickly. It is a legacy move, but I strongly recommend, if you are trying to improve your Ultra League gameplay, investing in a Cresselia with Grass Knot. Now the opponent did an amazing catch onto their robot, but unfortunately my Swampert, unfortunately for them, it's great for us, but Swampert had a lot of loaded energy, and we were able to build up to an Earthquake to one-shot the Melmetal. I made a risky move here and called the bait from that Roserade. I love playing with Roserade in the Ultra League, by the way. That's a really solid choice, but when the bait did not work and they couldn't get the shield, they just decided to tap out on that one as well, and that's okay by me. I will take the extra win and the extra ELO points there, and good game to my opponent. All right, moving into the next one, another positive lead with Swampert against Charizard. Charizard cannot take a Hydro Cannon and survive, so I figured they would switch out. That's why I didn't throw my energy at the very start, and we swap into our Cresselia because Cresselia is the best response that we have to water types. And this particular Lapras seems to have the legacy Ice Beam attack. That's very cool, very nice. I'm always intrigued to see those legacy moves on other Pokemon, and there's lag. You see the amount of lag that's happening here, and that actually cost me a bunch of elo points on the next set because I had 2 games where the opponent got 7 or 8 fast moves and the amount of time that it took me to get 1. So yeah, fix your game, Niantic. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shield here because I figured even though they have a lot of extra energy, we could maybe get to that final grass knot, and we couldn't. They had way too much energy, so I end up double shielding here like a stooge, and I just decide, okay, well, we're gonna go for it. They gave a shield there, not entirely sure why they did that, but hey, it's whatever you want to do, right? They come back in with Charizard. Of course, I make the swap into Swampert, but at this point, we're in a really bad place because they could swap out their Charizard, and they have a Venusaur. Now, I got really lucky there. They expected a Hydro Cannon, and I got an Earthquake through, so now we actually have the opportunity to take this last shield from the Charizard, and we go for the Hydro Cannon there. And remember, we still have our Articuno with some loaded energy in the back, so I'm betting that they just go for Dragon Claw. Yep, which is not enough to take us out. That was their only play. That was their win con, so I understand why that happened. They needed to be able to KO the Swampert while still having enough energy left for a Blast Burn so that they could one-hit KO the Articuno. So it makes sense, I understand, and I appreciate the play. It was a gutsy move. It just almost worked, but fortunately for me, the Dragon Claw was not quite enough to KO. Now, you probably noticed here that I accidentally clicked on the wrong team. This is a team that I really like, that really helped me climb from level 20 to level 21, but it's not a team that has done so well in the upper elo levels when I get closer to rank 22. So yeah, sometimes you pick the wrong thing and it happens. I just decided, you know, I'm going to play this out because I'm already recording the full set for the video anyway. Just let the Sirfetch'd go, and we come into another really bad matchup with the Scissor here, so I'm thinking, okay, I can try to debuff its attack, but if I swap in Articuno, that's not going to be any better. Articuno is just going to take super effective damage from the fast moves of the Scissor as well. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, this is an L, so I'm just playing through for the sake of playing through. Gonna try and spam a Grass Knot here just to get a little bit of extra damage, but they end up deciding to shield. So now I'm in an interesting situation where I have shield advantage, and of course I want to block the attack here because they had a lot of energy, and I correctly called the Iron Head. And I'm gonna have to shield here too because even a Night Slash is gonna get us super low, but it was another Iron Head. And lo and behold, look at this. They have a Giratina altered in the back, so I have lost every matchup up to this point, but now I have a favorable matchup somehow. And this Giratina is double debuffed, so even though it's going to get through a charge attack, maybe even 2 charge attacks, I don't think it's going to KO. The only problem here is now I am super low, so it's probably just going to take 1 super effective bullet punch to feint out the Articuno, but we did get them pretty low. Yeah, so the Ice Shard went through, and we were narrowly able to feint out that Scissor. So the Metal Bug went down, even though I did not expect it to, and we had a really lucky match with an unexpected team there. So hopefully you'll enjoy having some variety in the video there. All right, coming into game 5, we have a negative lead against a Cresselia, so we switch out into our Ice Bird here, and we are just going to go for Icy Wind because there is no circumstance in which Articuno pulls off a win against this Registeel. So the best we can do is weaken it up so that its attacks do not do as much damage when they come in against our Swampert. I actually probably should have gone for Hurricane because now the Registeel is going to get a little extra farm, But fortunately, they just decided to go ahead and throw all of their energy, so they threw twice in a row, and now we can come in with Swampert and start building energy. I'm just going to go straight for Earthquake. And yeah, they tried to call a Hydro Cannon, and it was not Hydro Cannon. But now we're in a difficult spot because, yeah, Grass Knot. But fortunately, the Psycho Cuts are not doing very much, so I can go straight for another Earthquake. So Swampert does survive one Grass Knot if it has full health, but Grass Knot is a really strong move there. So this is looking pretty bad, even though the team worked generally how I expected it to, with drawing out, counters that would be challenging for things like Cresselia and Articuno, and, beating those counters with Swampert. I still ended up in a situation where it was 2 shields to 2 shields, but they had 2 Pokemon to my 1 Pokemon. But this is interesting. They decide to switch out, and in the back, they have a Swampert. So I can plausibly save a shield here. Yeah, okay, so I decided not to shield. Hydro Cannon hurts, but it's not gonna hurt enough that I want to necessarily use the shield yet, and I can get the Swampert low enough for a Grass Knot to take it out, and now it is just these Psychic Swans going at it against each other. Saving that shield was really crucial because now, okay, yeah, I get the Moonblast. They are going to launch a Moonblast, and that's going to bring me into the red zone. But now I have extra energy, and I think this should KO from this range. It's going to be close. Yeah, we just barely KO the opposing Cresselia, so we are able to take that win, and that was a really fun battle, very close, and I really enjoyed that with my opponent. Good game. I decided, because I clicked on the wrong team for battle number 4, that I would show y'all another battle from the next set using the correct team. So you see 5 matches with the actual team that I'm trying to showcase. But I was lucky we were able to do a 5-0 on that set that I recorded. Okay, seeing a positive lead here against a Berserker, which is a very cool version of Meowth. I'm a fan of Meowth, but Persian is not all that strong in this game, Meowth's evolution, so Berserker is a pretty good alternative. I decided to use a shield there because Berserker does have access to close combat, and I think I probably double shield. Yeah, because we can farm down with mud shots. They switch into an Empoleon, and we're going to go straight for the Earthquake. They appropriately shield that, so I'm going to bring in the Psychic Swan here and start going for neutral Grass Knots. We will take a decent chunk of damage from the Hydro Cannons, but Cresselia is super duper tanky. Yeah, so we can take a few of those Hydro Cannons a lot easier than this Empoleon is going to be able to take the Grass Knot attacks that we are now spamming out. And they swap into their Cat, and we are able to farm it down before they get to their charge move. And I blind through the Moonblast because Moonblast is going to do neutral damage kind of more across the board, whereas Grass Knot feels a little bit more specialized. I figured they, if they came back in with the Empoleon, it was low enough that the Moonblast would still take it out, and if they came in with something else, Moonblast had a better chance of succeeding there. So we are able to feint out the Armored Mewtwo, but we're going to lose the Articuno here. Fortunately, we still had a little bit of health on our Swampert, and Swampert was able to Mudshot down and take the win. So this team has been really fun. It's been really helpful for me in the Ultra League, and I hope that y'all have been having a good time in the Ultra League as well. If you have thoughts or feedback about my team, please feel free to include those in the comments, and I would really love if you decided to give the video a like if you enjoyed the content, or to subscribe to the page if you haven't already, so that you can leave me more feedback in the future, and we can enjoy building our little Pokemon Go community together here. I'll talk to you next time, trainers.